You know, there are winners and losers in that big Supreme Court ruling yesterday, the decision with online retailers and states now having the ability to implement sales tax. Here now to help break it all down, Kristin Tate, author of How Do I Tax Thee, and Jillian Melcher, Wall Street Journal editorial page writer. Kristin, you seem to be pretty upset on Twitter. Of course, this is your bailiwick. You've railed against taxes for a long time, and now we're going to see, this ruling, which, by the way, a lot of people applauded. I didn't like it myself.
Yeah, well, state officials are cheering over this, but internet sales taxes are anti-competition and typically experienced as a tax hike on consumers. This ruling essentially means that online consumers, regardless of where they shop or what they buy, lose the freedom to shop around for a more favorable tax system. And without the fear of losing consumers to lower tax states, lawmakers are less likely to lessen the burden, the sales tax burden in their own state. These internet sales taxes also drown small businesses and online entrepreneurs like sellers on Etsy with compliance costs for over 10,000 jurisdictions for sales taxes.
Right.
So make no mistake, Charles, the big retailers like Walmart and Amazon, they love this internet sales tax because it burdens their smaller competitors and could even put them out of business.
Yeah, I think obviously the big online sellers, they're already winners. 19 of 20 already charged this, and it creates a moat, right, for future competition. It makes it tougher. And I think a lot of these retailers in the last 3 months, 4 months, we've seen where they're getting it together. They're figuring out the omni-channel, all these different ways, and so it helps them as well. Yesterday, Kroger, which is supposed to be dead after the Amazon Whole Foods thing, was the best performer in the market. So why do you think so many businesses apparently lobbied for this?
Well, I mean, it is the big businesses lobbying for it because they know that they can afford the lawyers to be able to deal with it. It's these small guys that are just going to get creamed. But I think one thing to look for going forward is you're going to see state and local governments salivating over the opportunity to tax. We've got states like Connecticut, massive pension liabilities. This is a big win for them. And I think the Supreme Court...
But they're going to use the money. They're going to spend more than they take in no matter what it is.
Absolutely they are. And it's really sad and unfortunate. I mean, I think the Supreme Court interpreted the law correctly on this, but it's really difficult to get a legal fix in a lot of these states where they're just spending like crazy. The members of Congress are going to be under a ton of pressure not to pass this bill. It's basically transferring wealth from small businesses to states that are irresponsible.
Yeah. And Kristin, I like what you talked about there. I think this is horrible for the side hustle, right? I mean, you got over 30% of folks 18 to 29 doing something, with the gig economy, trying to make ends meet. People, they knit sweaters, sell it on Etsy. That makes all the difference in the world. People sell things on eBay. It makes all the difference in the world. And this is hurting them more than it's helping any of these larger names.
Oh, yeah, it squashes the hustlers and the little guys. But to add to what Jillian said, these revenue-hungry state officials probably think that more revenue will alleviate the need for them to get their financial house in order. But they couldn't be more wrong. In fiscal year 2017, 33 states faced budget shortfalls, despite the fact that most states saw an increase in revenue collection. That's because when states collect more revenue, they spend more.
Yeah, all governments, including federal government. Real quick, you mentioned Congress. A lot of people were asking Congress to set up some rules of the road because South Dakota, their parameters are, I think, 100,000 in sales or 200 transactions. That was the threshold before the tax applied. Should they step in and do something like that?
I think so. I mean, Goodlatte got a proposal right now to basically set a statewide standard, so you're not at least dealing with the complexities of local tax, and then it would be redistributed through a national clearinghouse. Here's the thing, though. Again, the politicians from those states that are really irresponsible, they don't have a political incentive to do it, even if it's the right thing for small business.
All right, ladies, thank you both very much. Coming up, President Trump asked NFL players for pardon suggestions, and guess what? He got them today from members of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to talk about what they had to say next.